of the political spectrum. We got dirtbags in the Republican Party, we got dirtbags in the Democratic Party. But the Democratic Party foundation, its entire foundation is built and made purposely to destroy America.
Let Kyrie play! Let Kyrie play! Let Kyrie play! Let Kyrie play!
So, before I get in this video, I gotta give my disclaimer here, like always. Not making any claims about the mask, the vaccine, the pandemic, mask. Not making claims about anything whatsoever. If you have any questions about that stuff, please consult your doctor. This is a conversation about public policy and public policy only. Again, I'm not making any claims. All right, guys. So, that was the protest that happened yesterday in support of Kyrie Irving and letting him play, and against the vaccine mandate of New York. Now, that scene right there gave me goosebumps, right? Gave me goosebumps because it's the first time in my life that I have seen Trump supporters and BLM come together to protest for a common cause, right? And I'm telling you, that's something that the establishment really hates to see, because they've spent most of their time trying to divide this country by race. But when it comes to some issues, it seems that BLM and Trump supporters have some things in common in terms of, you know, how they feel, right? And I want to say this, right? There are legitimate differences between BLM and, you know, Trump supporters in regards to, you know, certain policy issues like defund the police. There are legitimate issues that we just cannot really agree on, okay? However, there are some similarities to a certain extent in which I think both groups definitely feel like they've been left behind in America, right? They feel like they've been screwed over, particularly by the government. And we're talking about, you know, some real policy issues here that has screwed over black and middle/rural America, particularly when it comes to issues of trade, right? Shipping American jobs overseas in the name of corporate profits, right? The politicians, like that one guy was saying, they got scumbags on both sides, right? Scumbags on both sides. And Republicans are scumbags in the sense that, yeah, they do sell out to corporations and the rich, but Democrats not only sell out to corporations and the rich, they also are trying to literally destroy the traditional culture of America, right? So, I mean, at the end of the day, if you're going to pick your poison, I would rather go with the sellouts to the rich that are not trying to destroy America and the Constitution and the cultural fabric of this country. Right? I'm just keeping it 100, right? I mean, dude's kind of on point. But again, it's just a shame that it's even a choice between just two, right? Which is why we should get rid of the two-party system. I think that it needs to go. And a lot of people are starting to realize that, hey, you know what? Both sides here, you guys are all in the same bed to a certain extent when it comes to certain things. So we need to just break it up, right? Have a multi-party system where it's not a pick your poison situation. But let's read more about how this protest turned so ugly that it got Barclays Center locked down. And some people, right, are now starting to compare this protest to January 6th, okay? So we're gonna talk a little bit more about that too. Kyrie was neither seen nor heard at the Brooklyn Nets home opener on Sunday, but the effects of his decision to refuse to get vaccinated were on display. Ahead of the game, a large group of vaccine mandate protesters appeared outside the Barclays Center demanding Irving be allowed to play NBA games again. Even though he is barred from only Nets games due to New York protocols, the Nets have announced Irving will not play until the situation is resolved, aka until he takes the vaccine, or New York drops the vaccine mandate. Wearing shirts, reading slogans such as "Stand with Kyrie" and chanting "Let Kyrie play," the crowd soon turned aggressive and stormed past barricades outside the arena. Newsday, Barbara Barker reported the group included supporters of President Donald Trump and people with Black Lives Matter signs, with another source claimed to hear a reference to January 6th storming of the U.S. Capitol. Again, this is how the mainstream media is going to frame this, right? And if you notice, it doesn't matter what your race is. If you go after certain policies, if you protest certain things that they don't like, that the establishment is not cool with, they're going to throw you in the same box as the Trump supporters, right? They're going to throw BLM. They're going to accuse BLM of trying to incite an insurrection. I guarantee you. if it keeps up, they are going to turn on BLM, and all of a sudden they're going to get the same exact treatment that Trump supporters have gotten, right? They're going to get the same thing, okay? That's just kind of how it goes. The situation was ugly enough that the Nets shut down admission into the Barclays Center while trying to keep protesters out of the building, per Barker. The lockdown was ultimately brief, with Newsday Greg Logan reporting minutes later that arena personnel and police got the situation under control and fans with tickets were being admitted again. The Barclays Center later released a short statement confirming the lockdown. Quote, Barclays Center briefly closed its doors today in order to clear protesters from the main doors on the plaza and ensure guests could safely enter the arena. Only ticketed guests were able to enter the building, and the game proceeded according to schedule. All right, so you guys all know about, Kyrie's vaccine stance, and somewhere Stephen A. Smith is probably pounding sand over this because, he's been hardcore going against Kyrie for his decision. However, you have certain, conservative figureheads like Ted Cruz and Donald Trump Jr. have come out in support of Kyrie. And you also have other Republican politicians that have showed up to these protests. I believe that there are going to be more protests today. And I believe those protests are for New York City workers that are, again, facing this mandate. And apparently, according to a person on the ground there who's been, giving me some inside information about what's going on, apparently cops and sanitation workers have been doing sick outs, right? So people's garbages haven't been picked up, okay? And there's been some essential services that have just kind of slowed down or stopped because there are sick outs and protests being conducted essentially as we speak. So there's a lot going on in New York City. And again, 2021, we have BLM and Trump supporters combining forces to protest against vaccine mandates and allowing Kyrie Irving to play. It's kind of incredible. But I will say this. I mean, like any of these, protests, I hope they stay peaceful. I'm pro people's right to free speech, right? As long as it stays peaceful. And I also think that when you have grievances with government policy, no matter what it is, you got to take it up with the government. I'm just saying, maybe these people should, go to Bill de Blasio, go to town hall, go to Albany, talk to Holco, okay? Talk to the politicians. The politicians are the people that you have grievances with, not Barclays Center. But I get it. I understand. I understand, right? I understand. It's just funny, too, because people frame Trump supporters as these racists, right? That hate black people, right? They hate black people. But yet, they're protesting in favor of a black man's right? That's literally what they're protesting for, okay? It's kind of crazy. But it's funny because this is what I try to tell people, when it comes to the right, look, listen, if you agree with us on the issues, then we riding with you. Regardless of race, regardless of any of that stuff, we're riding with you because we're leading with the policy first, right? We're leading with policies first, okay? But the left, on the other hand, they lead with race. They're like, oh, we're with you because of your race. People on the right never say that. They're not about being with you because of your race. No, they're just like, no, you're either with us because of the policies, right? Which is how it's supposed to be, right? But again, on the left, it's you lead with race. But if you disagree with us on the policy, then, your race goes out the window, even though we attracted you based off your race, right? We say we love you based off your race, okay? And again, I just find it funny, right? How these people, right? BLM, the same people who, always want to talk about white supremacy, this, white supremacy, that. You have white people, right, on the opposite side of the political spectrum that have come together and say, you know what, we will protest, for black people's rights and our rights as well, for the rights of all Americans, right? When we agree with the policy, right? Of course, because, there's a fundamental disagreement on both sides about police. But when it comes to certain things, it's like, if we agree with you, you know what, we're going to ride with you, But in the day, man, like I said, between 2020 and 2021, these are 2 years for the books, right? This has been 2 years for the books, and it doesn't look like it's slowing down. It doesn't look like it's slowing down. So, let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a black conservative perspective. Peace.